What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We have a ton of great information to go over in today's video. The S&P 500 and the Dow broke all-time highs today, and a lot of tech stocks in the NASDAQ just had an amazing day. In today's video, we're going to be talking about all of our favorite plays for the rest of this week. We're going to be talking about the Powell news for this week. We also have to talk about some interesting news with Google and oil. Overall, we have a lot of great plays, a lot of great information in today's video, so make sure to stick around for the end. We have a $2.8 million trade that we're going to be talking about at the end of this video. If you guys are new here, don't forget to subscribe. We post brand new videos every single day. But with that being said, Tom, what happened in the market today?
Yeah, overall, the markets did extremely well today, and we saw all-time highs out of the S&P 500 and the Dow, but the Nasdaq is still kind of playing catch up. And if we go to the QQQ, we can see that it's still kind of trying to come back up to those all-time highs that it just can't quite move past. But the S&P 500 and the SPY did extremely well, moving above $400, up over to 406.94 at the high today. So just a fantastic day for the market overall. And also, Powell is speaking Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time at the International Monetary Fund debate, or the IMF, on the global economy. So he could definitely move the markets on Thursday as well. But it was just a great day seeing all these indices posting such good green days, and I just would look for a continuation out of this tomorrow. Just given how much momentum we're seeing out of some of these stocks that are starting to recover back up, like Apple, Walmart, Nvidia, and just tons of those huge stocks.
Awesome stuff. So we also have the FOMC minutes on Wednesday. So that's another thing to keep in mind. But Tom, I want to look at some of these tech stocks that just killed it today, specifically Microsoft, Apple, and Google. I mean, Google is up around 4%. Microsoft has just had an amazing past 3 days. Went from like, what is it, went from like 232 all the way up to 249. So it's just doing amazing. So what are your thoughts on some of these ones?
Yeah, with Microsoft, it looks fantastic. A lot of volume, and it closed up towards the highs, which was awesome. And it failed to fall below the 248 level at the end of the day. I really like this tomorrow above the $250 level. I think that's going to be a big level in people's minds, just being $250, being a solid 250. And I think that once it moves above that in the morning, we'll see a pretty good pop. But I do think that might happen in pre-market. So just watch out for what goes on, because keep in mind that the S&P 500 and /ES specifically can move overnight, which is the S&P 500 futures.
For sure. And then another thing is, historically, like over the past year, the NASDAQ was always in the lead. These tech stocks were just exploding, but it's kind of been the opposite over the past couple months. Right now, like we said, like a couple minutes ago, the S&P 500 and the Dow are at all-time highs, but the NASDAQ is kind of lagging behind. So we see some of these tech stocks like Apple that, while we have the markets at all-time highs, Apple is still, what is it, about $20 off its all-time high, right around $145, and right now it's sitting at around $125. So this might be a decent opportunity to like average in for the long term. But I just wanted to point out, because normally it's like the opposite, where tech's leading the way, but we're clearly not seeing that.
Yeah, for sure. And we're about 15% away from that high on Apple. So that's actually a pretty good move out of a pretty good stock like Apple. And there's even just a ton of opportunities right now with Apple, Disney, a whole bunch of different stocks, like we were talking about, Walmart even, and Target, which are some pretty safer stocks as well. Target's at all-time highs, so just watch out. But I really like those tech stocks, especially like Apple and Nvidia, that just have a ton of room to the upside over the next couple of weeks and the next couple of months. If we can continue to see these markets keep pumping and keep pushing all-time highs, these stocks will eventually get back to highs as well.
Awesome. And I was looking at crude oil futures today, and they just got smashed. What's going on?
Yeah, this was actually an insane move, and we talked about this last night, and we can see how oil was actually initially slightly up, but then it just got smashed. It was down around 5% at the lows today, reversing the cheer on the OPEC plus output hike per investing.com. And for better or for worse, the world's oil producers decided last week to defy Saudi Arabia and push for higher output over the next 3 months. But after patting them on the back and even rewarding them, the market is now saying that it was definitely for the worse. And that's what investing.com reported. And that's pretty much exactly what happened. We saw a pump up off that news, which was fantastic. And then the market just decided, you know what? Whenever there's an output hike, it should drop the price of oil. So it did end up going down, and it ended up making more sense just on a supply and demand scenario.
Good stuff. And then I know we also have some news with Google and Oracle. I saw Google was up around 4% today, just exploding. And then Oracle had a pretty good day today, too.
Yeah, I kind of expected Oracle to go down on this news, but CNBC reported that Google will stop using Oracle's finance software and adopt SAP instead. And the two companies increasingly compete in the cloud computing market, and Oracle's refusal to certify its database for use in Google's cloud hampered adoption among large companies, according to one person directly familiar with Google's cloud business. But the move does not appear to be tied to the long-standing lawsuit between the two companies over Google's incorporation into Android of some Java software code owned by Oracle. The Supreme Court actually ruled on this earlier Monday in Google's favor, and that's why Google ended up making this move, in my opinion. But they're kind of competing in the cloud business. Google and Oracle is. So that's just a big thing to keep in mind, because obviously they're competitors. So they're going to kind of quit using their competitors' products here. And that's just kind of what happened. And I don't really expect it to hurt Oracle too bad, considering it hasn't fallen too much on the news yet, but it has started kind of to go red at the end of the day. So we'll just have to see how this plays out tomorrow, because losing anything with Google should affect the company pretty good. But Oracle's a pretty strong company in its own.
Very interesting. Well, let's get right into our momentum plays and member of the day. Today's member of the day is Gandhi. So huge shout out, Gandhi. You're a super active member in the chat. So we just wanted to give you a huge shout out. Thank you so much for all of your activity. But let's get right into our momentum plays for tomorrow. With the first one, we have Apple to the upside.
Yep. And with Apple, go ahead and make it pop above 126.25.
All right. And with the next one, we have Microsoft.
Microsoft. This one's amazing because you can just make it pop above the $250 level even.
All right. And then we have WBA.
Yep, WBA, Walgreens. Yeah, this one's doing fantastic. Actually just broke above that resistance earlier, but make it break above 57.
Sounds great. So we're eyeing all these plays for potential day trades tomorrow, only if they can break above the levels Tom listed. If they do break above those levels, just quick in and out day trades. That's how you play those setups. But now let's get right into the $2.8 million trade for this Friday. We are looking at the RIOT 60 strike calls for this Friday, April 9th. So Riot has been doing amazing over the past year. In the past year, went from 92 cents to $79.50. It had a crazy run up. It is making lower highs, which is usually a bearish signal, but it has made a lot of higher lows too. So right now it just looks like it's in a giant triangle pattern, but with the way it's moving and with the way it has moved in the past, I think it definitely has a lot of potential to get to $60. What do you think?
Yeah, me too. And especially if we see Bitcoin keep going up, if Bitcoin can break the all-time high, at least Bitcoin futures here, around $6,100 or $61,000, I should say, then it'll be an amazing move. I think out of those stocks like Riot and MARA, which is Mara, I think both of those can do great, especially Riot though, just given how much stuff that they do with the blockchain and mining different things. I just think that the higher the Bitcoin and stuff goes, the better for Riot. And we can see that it doesn't move exactly like Bitcoin, but at the same time, whenever Bitcoin goes up, it obviously benefits Riot.
All right, well, let's get right into our questions from the previous episode. With the first question, we have Destiny saying, so if I buy a call at the 37 strike and the break-even price is at $40.63, does that mean it has to be at $40.63 or higher for you to make money? So at expiration, you would need the stock price to be at your break-even price or above for call options to turn a profit on that. But that's only if you're holding the option till expiration. Most of the people just like to scalp options, you can say, or at least a lot of retail traders do. They'll just buy an option and then they'll sell it way before their expiration date. So for example, let's say you buy buy an option, like right now, let's say I'm looking at RIOT and I go to the, let's say I go to the 57 strike call for April 16th. Right now, you would pay around $490 for that. And let's say tomorrow it's at $550. You can sell it for $550 and you'll still make a profit. So you don't really need to have it at your break even price, only if you are holding it till expiration. So I hope that answers your question. With the next question, we have Frankie saying, just asking about Tesla. So Tom, I know Tesla had a pretty interesting day. Do you see any like major resistance levels or anything like that? I know we could not close above 700.
Yeah, I think that $700 level is really going to pose as the big resistance here. I definitely have it plotted on my chart at 700. We moved above it today, and then like you said, we just failed to close above it. We're still above the 100 SMA, which is generally a good sign, but at the same time, Tesla looked kind of red to close out the day, even though a lot of the other stocks were doing pretty well. But I will say, though, I think Tesla can still pop back up tomorrow. They did kind of hold the high of yesterday, so I think that's a good sign.
Sounds good. With the next question, we have Bravo asking about Powell for this week and if we are concerned about that for this week. So I'm not too concerned about Powell this week unless, of course, he says something crazy. But it's not like we have an FOMC like press conference or meeting or anything like that this week. It's just the FOMC meetings or the FOMC minutes, I should say, and then he's speaking at the IMF. So it's not like the normal Powell FOMC like meeting press conference thing. So I'm not too worried, but unless he says something crazy, the market shouldn't be impacted too much. With the next question, we have Spacely talking about a KO put. So it's up around 0.57% today. What do you think?
Yeah, that's actually quite a bit for KO over the past couple of days. It's been pretty flat to just slightly down over the past 3 trading days, but today was a pretty nice pop back up. I will say I'm not too sure about getting puts with the Dow, how it keeps breaking all-time highs and just riding up. And I also really like how KO moved up and out of this trend line. So hopefully KO can start to kind of get back up towards those highs around $60 that happened right before the virus hit.
Sounds good. With the next question, we have Trades asking about Microsoft and the Discord news. So I know that's kind of a rumor. Microsoft wants to acquire Discord. It's just a rumor right now. It's not official, but Microsoft has a ton of momentum. Like, I just want to cover this one again, Tom. Like, I was looking back on its chart, and it looks like sometimes Microsoft, when it runs up, it'll run up for 4 or 5 days. Like, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I really like this running up, especially with that news of Discord. I think that if they can get Discord, that would be amazing for them. I think that there's a lot of opportunities where they could monetize Discord, and that might hurt us because we might have to start paying more for our Discord server or something. But in the end, though, that's going to be good for Microsoft, and I think that would be amazing. They're right around that $250 level right now, also, and I just think that's an amazing level. But with all this hype with Discord, if they do acquire that, I would expect that to push Microsoft up, at least in the shorter term.
Yeah, it depends at what price they acquire it at too. But speaking of Discord, if you guys aren't in our Discord already, it's in the description down below. The link to join. It's completely free. There's free day trades, and you can talk with a bunch of other members. Like I said, it's completely free, and the link is in the description down below. With the next question, we have Kay asking about Palantir. So I know he was playing Palantir puts. Palantir finished up around 1.6% today. Do you have any levels or anything on this one?
Yeah, Palantir was really hovering around that $24 level. And initially in the morning, whenever the market opened, I was watching Palantir. It started to really move up above 24, and then it just came right back down below it, unfortunately. And that's a pretty unfortunate thing to see. We might see it keep going down tomorrow. So maybe he held his puts, but he might have gotten out of them just given how much it popped early in the morning. And I would have thought that it would have kept running once it moved past 24, but that ended up not being the case. You could have gotten in very quickly for a quick day trade, but in the end, it ended up going down.
Yeah, I know he was in calls, and that there is resistance right around 24 and then $24.50. So personally, I like it for the long term. I'm not sure when your puts expire. I mean, when your calls expire, but overall, I like it. So Tom, do you have any last minute stocks, options, or any insight for the market for tomorrow?
Yeah, I just created a quick watch list here of just all these Dow stocks that are just doing amazing. And I just think that on their daily charts, they just look fantastic. Facebook is breaking all-time highs here. We could see a good continuation out of that one tomorrow. Walmart is starting to fill the gap back up there. That would be an amazing move. Home Depot just cannot post a red day, it doesn't seem like. So watch out for them. Apple, we talked about this earlier. They're like right in the middle of their range right now, starting to break out. It would be amazing for them to kind of head back up towards 140. And then Target, just amazing moves, all-time highs, make them break above 206. But I really like how this one broke out today as well. And then also Amazon actually started to break back above that trend line. So if we could start to see some of the overall market keep going up, I think that Amazon might start to pop back up and really break above this trend line pretty significantly and maybe start to retest around 3,400.
Sounds good. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you want to trade with Tom and I every single day trades, swing trades, and access to our bots, you can click the first link in the description down below for about $40 off. And we will be live streaming soon, so don't forget to subscribe to the new channel. The link will also be in the description down below. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments down below. But other than that, thanks for watching.